Welcome back to Black and White Table Talk, where we slow the game down and talk about what lives in the gray. We've talked about why we do this, why we stay, what pulls us into officiating, and what keeps us here, even when it's not easy. Today, we're going to shift the conversation. We're going to talk about one of the fastest growing sports in America and explain a little bit about it, discuss its culture, and how it may be different from other sports. Because every sport has a culture, a pace, a personality, a way its participants talk to each other, respond to authority, and handle emotions and pressure when the game gets tight. And few sports have as distinct of a culture as lacrosse. It's like basketball on grass. Same fast breaks, same ball movement, same get to the cup and attack the paint mentality. The only difference is you're running 110 yards instead of 94 feet. And you can hit your opponent with a stick. The players, fans, and parents are passionate, and they're still defining what the sport looks like as it grows. So the question becomes, is lacrosse shaping the behavior around it, or is the behavior shaping the culture of the sport? Today, we're joined by an official, a guy who sees lacrosse from a very different angle than basketball. He's got multiple sports under his tool belt, and he officiates high school boys lacrosse. And through his experiences, we're going to explore not just how the game is played, but how it's felt. Once again, this isn't about calls, it's about culture. Because when you understand the culture of a sport, you start to understand how people treat the game and each other. We begin to understand how access, exposure, tradition, the expectations we bring to the game, and how people learn to respond to competition and authority shapes the culture. So this is the Black and White Table Talk. Let's dive right in. I want to welcome my guy, Mr. Timmy Span, known for well, you're my homeboy.
Yeah. Oh, Michigan, baby.
From what up, though?
Well, how you do? How
From
you do?
Michigan. It's be all right. You're from Michigan, where I was born and raised. You were born and raised there also.
Pontiac, Michigan.
Pontiac,
Pontiac,
a little
Michigan.
bit north, where the Pistons played, the Pontiac Silverdome and the
Yes,
Lions.
sir.
So we diehard Detroit fans.
Yes, we are.
We got something to cheer for this year. Um, so you introduce yourself to everybody on the Black and White
Like
Table.
I said, Tim Span. I'm from Pontiac, Michigan. Been in Atlanta since 1984.
Wow.
1984. I've seen a lot of changes in Atlanta since I've been here. But it's been a few decades. Yeah, it's a little bit. Now I'm married for what 36 years.
Dang, wow.
Two boys. So,
Some people are old. It's good, man.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah, been cool. Been good.
So what sports do you officiate?
Currently, I appreciate basketball, high school boys basketball, volleyball, and lacrosse.
And have you done football too, or
No, I know I've done football. What 2 years? Couple years.
so
Yeah,
into football?
yeah, but it was okay. It was all right. But,
So you do more. Would you say you do more lacrosse, basketball?
no, I probably do more basketball. I do more basketball. For through the season and of course during the summer and the in between. So yeah, I think, but yeah.
Do you have a favorite sport that you officiate? Would you say you have a favorite one?
Yeah.
Do you want to share it, or you want to keep it?
My favorite sport. I like my first love. I call it my first love. It is basketball. That's my first love. I'm not gonna lie. Then
Play basketball.
yeah, I played basketball. Yeah, and I wasn't too bad. I wasn't too bad. Yeah, I was all right. I was a point guard. I can pass, man.
Yeah. What do you do? You get to the bucket, or were you a jump shooter?
Couldn't stop.
Couldn't stop you.
Couldn't stop. And also, I wanted to mention this before we go on. I was always a competitive runner too. I ran competitively.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fast.
You were still running well a little bit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about lacrosse, man. Tell me, briefly about the sport, the objectives of it, kind of, and then how you got started in it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay. Like you mentioned before in your introduction, lacrosse is probably one of the most growing sports here in Atlanta and Georgia.
in America, really.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, in America, it's growing tremendously. Now because of the growth of and the growth of the sport and the reputation of the sport, and it's, now getting more and more pro leagues are coming, but lacrosse is I guess best describe lacrosse is it's like you mentioned before. It's like playing basketball on a field. You have 10 players on each side. You have offense and defense, and just like a game of basketball, or even like in football, you have offense and defense. You have 10 players on each field, and the whole objective basically is to take this white ball, real ball, and just basically score in the net.
Yeah. And that ball is pretty hard, man.
That ball is very hard. Matter of fact, I do have one in my car, but that ball is really, really hard. So if you get hit by that ball, it's going to sting a little bit.
It's going to bruise.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah.
So are the players padded up, or
players? In men's lacrosse, it's mandatory equipment. It's mandatory equipment. The mandatory equipment is you have to have the helmet, mandatory. You have to have mouthpiece, mandatory. Face mask, face guard.
Oh, wow.
Face. Yeah. Mandatory.
Cage.
Mandatory. Arm guard. Padding on the shoulders, on your elbows.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff is mandatory, and there's no way you get around it. Because also a mouthpiece.
So they're hitting each other with sticks, right? I mean, and there's body checks in boys.
But they do have a long. You got short sticks, which is those short sticks about 40 to 42 meters long. Then you have a long stick, and those
meters,
sticks,
meters. That's not meters, but
yeah.
Inches, 42 inches.
Yeah. So you got short sticks.
So it's like 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah. So you got those access. So those sticks have that pocket on the neck. So and that's where the ball
to
catch the ball. Yeah, so. And those, those sticks, I just call them it's like some of them players use it as a bat. Then you could swing those, you could swing that stick, and once that stick hits you, it's gonna,
it's not
painful. Yeah.
It ain't like a tickle or nothing like
that. It ain't gonna
you ain't getting tickled by that.
Yeah. But like I said, the whole objective is actually to score.
Yeah.
It's to score.
So most of the lacrosse games, are they pretty high scoring? I mean,
it all depends on like any other sports. It all depends on the team and the skill level of the players. You have certain teams, they are just really good, and they will score at a high level.
Yeah.
So I think probably the highest score that I've seen so far in any lacrosse game would be like, maybe like 15 points, maybe 15 to 20 points.
Yeah. That's a lot. And there's 4 quarters?
Yeah, 4 quarters in boys high school lacrosse. You have 4 quarters, which is 12 minutes per quarters.
Yeah.
12 minute quarter, 4 quarters, and then you have the JV, which is 10.
Subzones, I mean, are there substitution? I know there's a zone, isn't there, that, I mean, can you sub at any time during the sport?
Yeah, you actually can sub. You have 6 players on your offensive side, because you're breaking down, in the zone. So you have to have 6 players on your offensive side and 6 players on your defense. So you have 6 offensive players and 6 defensive players on each side. Okay. And if you have more than 6 players on offense and more players on defense, like 7 players on, that is considered a violation, which is offside.
Okay. So you can only have 6 players in an offensive zone.
Offensive zone. So you got offense playing, offense 6 players, then you have defense.
So typically,
and plus that's not including the goalie.
Okay.
On the defensive side.
Yeah. So is it 2-person crews for officials or 3-person crews?
No, in the past couple of years now, Georgia High School Association are now going to a more than 3-person officiating crew now. But we're just like, again, and I use basketball analogies that you have a lead person, a trail person, then a slot person.
Yeah.
And each particular referee covers certain areas of that particular zone
of the field.
right.
Yeah.
And they're looking at certain things.
So would you say lacrosse is more intense or less intense?
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be intense. It can be intense. A lot of these, again, depending on the level of the team,
Yeah.
and the level of the players.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of, been in a lot of games, seen a lot of games where the intensity of the game is really, really, really
It's
great.
ratcheted up, like rivalry games.
You got rivalry games. You have the parents going, going nuts. Seeing a lot of things. So yeah.
So how would you compare it to a basketball game? You think most of the most intense lacrosse game you've had, is it as intense as the most intense basketball game you've had or volleyball match that you had?
The most intense game that I've experienced in the three sports that I refereed was more in basketball. And more basketball, where the actual crowd of fans are really close up on you, and you have a rivalry game. When the gym is really packed, and you have a couple of thousand people in the gym. It's and then and the fans are more closer to you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is that the fans? I mean, there's in a state. It's a stadium.
It's a stadium in Lacrosse. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And I haven't been to a Swarm game. It's one of the things I really want to do. And Swarm's the local professional team.
Yeah.
But still, even then, I think some of the sports where the fans are right up on the court or the field
Right.
are really a lot more intense.
Right. Yeah.
So that in lacrosse is kind of stadium seating. But how do you find the parent and fan community to be? Are they, great? I don't hate to say crazy, but are they pretty passionate? I think that's
Yes. They are. Very passionate fans. Very passionate fans. Because a lot of these players have been playing this game since as young as what 6, 7 years old, in which I have officiated those games.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
Oh,
it's it's interesting and good to see. You know, but yes, but those fans who have been seeing their sons and daughters start at a young age. They have this sense of passion about the game.
Yeah,
because they know the game.
They do.
And they've been around the game. So yes, the intensity of the game, they are so passionate.
Yeah.
And I've been in many situations where, you can hear them.
Yeah.
You can hear about, you make certain.
If you mess up.
Well, yeah, or something
they think you.
Well, the best, or something they disagree with.
Right.
Yeah,
they think we.
Right. Because it's always 50-50. It's always,
You think the fans know the rules? I mean, is it because there's a lot of misunderstanding or misunderstood rules in basketball and even volleyball.
Right.
But do you think they know the rules of lacrosse?
And one thing I always say, everybody's a referee in an incident. Everybody's a referee. So once you're on that field, on that court, you hear you hear, and it's like when you make a call, you're either gonna say that was a bad call, or if you did make a call, they're gonna say, why didn't you call this? Hey ref, that's supposed to be a slash in using a lacrosse term. Hey ref, she was pushed. She was pushed.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. So everybody's a referee. Everybody's a referee. So you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time. They hear it all the time.
So do you think the respect for officials is different in lacrosse than it is in volleyball or basketball or other sports you do?
Again, it's 50-50, man. You're always gonna have certain individuals where no matter what you do or what you say, that it's never always going to be right.
Yeah.
But
you don't have lacrosse parents waiting for you after the game by your car, talking to you like basketball. I mean,
Not yet.
Not yet.
But
Okay.
but I had parents after a game, especially if it's been a really really tight game, one of those games where the team's going back and forth. Somebody win by one or lose by one. And I have parents walking off the field and say, Ralph, you
you missed that game. You should have. We were on the score, and you called offside.
Bad calls, bad officiating. I mean, that just that's but those are few and far between. But I had those moments. Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think? I mean, I guess we all do. We all are going to.
Right.
As officials, it's part of what kind of like we do. You know what I mean? It's the nature of our job.
Right.
But do you think it's gotten better, worse, or stayed the same over the time? Like, how long have you been officiating lacrosse?
I am going on my 14th year.
Wow.
14 years. When I started, the uniform is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that I had a picture of the uniform when I first started. With the white pants and the long socks, and that was.
Oh yeah, I remember the
it was, but it's changed. It has really changed.
So you think the behavior has gotten better or worse, or has it stayed the same?
In my experience, what I've seen, it's about the same. I see about the same.
How are the players? Are they okay too? Do they?
As time goes on, I'm seeing that players, just like in other sports, they're getting bigger, faster, and quicker.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's just the evolution of the sports, any sport. They're getting bigger and faster and stronger. And which is, to me personally, I think it's good to see because you really see the change.
Yeah.
And that's the change that I like to see.
A lot of fights, would you say, in lacrosse? Have you ever experienced a fight?
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy, and
you have to young man that have this that testosterone going on. Yes, I've seen a lot of fights, and I say not fights, but I also seen a lot of brawls. A couple of brawls where with that stick. One of the things that we do in pregame, what I do in my pregame, when we talk to the players, one thing I tell the players, I say, what, guys, don't use that stick as a bat, okay? Because they will swing it like it was a bat, and when they swing it like it's a bat, they're swinging in some instances trying to really harm or hurt someone.
Yeah.
So when someone swing, because there is contact in the sport of in that sport.
So there's body checking.
Body checking, your body check. Long as we call it legal body check.
Got it.
Okay, you just can't just body check and take someone out.
Yeah.
There's a legal body checking that's involved. Anything from neck and up, that's totally illegal. You may have to hit somebody when you body check someone in lacrosse. They have to be from the side or in the front, and not in the back. Anything from neck up, it's totally illegal.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then with that stick, you have a lot of players that like to swing a stick, and when you swing a stick, they're supposed to hit. You can hit the person, but you can't just hit them really, really hard. You got to
tap it.
Yeah, right. Because you're trying to get the ball. If the offensive player has the ball in his stick, he's trying to dislodge that particular ball from the offensive player while he's making that move. Yeah. So yeah, but then like I mentioned before, there's legal check and there's illegal checking, and those illegal checks that I've experienced, which we call, unnecessary contact, illegal body checks and things like that, and it has really caused, a situation where someone can get not only hurt, but get upset.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you knock someone over from the side, are there a lot of players on the ground during the sport, or is it more or less like is that a penalty?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I mentioned, you can legally check someone in lacrosse. When I say legally check, I can gotta be from the side or from the front.
And if they fall, they fall.
They fall. Right. You can say bam. But like I said, if someone just like, and you know the intent. When I mean intent, you don't know that somebody's getting ready to wind up and go ready to just go ahead and take us
two-hander or something.
Or just instant coming up just like like a linebacker, going to take somebody out, which I've seen several times. Then that's an intent that no,
that's illegal.
That's totally illegal. That's unnecessary, and it's definitely not what the sport lacrosse.
Yeah, and I'm sure that can lead to quite a bit of skirmishes and
a lot of skirmishes. Yeah.
So you have penalties that you call. Yeah. Is there like a yellow or red card system?
We call the penalty is like is if we feel that a person got hit illegally. There's like you said, there's penalty. We can give them lacrosse. When we call it penalty, we call it flag. It's a yellow flag.
Oh, so you throw a flag.
We throw a flag. We throw it up in the air and say, we see a penalty. We see that this particular person or player have, done something illegally, some type of it's a personal foul. And it's like a personal foul like in basketball.
Got it.
In basketball, they allow 5 personal fouls before they are called out in the game.
Oh, before they're disqualified.
And a personal foul can be anywhere from, like I said, illegal hit, illegal contact, from the head up, swinging that stick, hitting parts of the body with force. So we just throw our back and say, hey, this is the personal foul. And then we give this person like 1 or 2 minutes. When we say 1 or 2 minutes penalty, means that particular player who the penalty is on sit out
that duration,
like the duration of the game for 1 or 2 minutes. So it means that when you have 6 offensive players on one side and 6 defensive players on one side, if a defensive player has a personal penalty, now you got 6 on 5.
Got it.
And vice versa. If offensive player calls any type of penalty, then
it's just like a man advantage in hockey or something. Yeah, exactly. So can you be two people down?
You can do you can be 2 people down, 3 people down.
So there's no limit to the number of.
If that particular player had any type of penalty, and usually it's like 1 minute.
A minute is like the most common.
Most common. But if there was any viciousness, if like any hit, any contact from the neck up,
that's a 2 minute.
That's 2 minutes, and then we call which is non-releasable, which means they have to sit for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Through the duration of the game, so it all depends.
So it's like a power play in hockey, right? So if you score, then that player comes back on the field.
Yeah, exactly. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know hockey, man. So I don't know. But I like the Red Wings though.
Okay.
I like the Red Wings.
So what would you say is the craziest thing you've seen on the lacrosse field? If you had to, pick something, what would you say?
Yeah, I was in this is crazy. I was at a lacrosse tournament this past summer at Lake Point.
Yeah.
And so this guy, you could tell, the game was a little bit chippy. Yeah. They going back and forth. You got out of state teams. You got teams coming from Florida, Tennessee. It's everywhere. You got out of state teams. Southeast, right? So you got this one team. They were just going back and forth. All of a sudden, this one player took his stick. It was just one of these situations where they both crashed into each other, and they both hit the ground. Okay, all right. Nothing was like nothing there. That happened. This is contact sport. All of a sudden, this one kid, he gets up. I don't know what made him, but he took his stick. And all of a sudden he just started swinging. All of a sudden he just bam, bam.
He hit the other kid.
Yeah, it was like on the kids on the ground. He just got up, and I'm like, what? I mean, it was. And first you go like, I can't believe this.
Right.
He gets up. He just bam, bam, bam. So we run over, try to break him down. Of course, obviously, the other team they come, and you say, who,
What are you doing?
Right? Obviously, both teams come together. Then you have the parents.
They want to come on the field.
Yeah.
So you've had parents rush the field and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
oh yeah. Especially when you have when the game is a chippy, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what? We all been there.
Oh yeah.
And we could throw the penalty flag. Try to see guys out and send them.
So he got kicked out of the game. Huh?
When he got kicked off, yeah, he could not longer play in the tournament. Yeah. But once a lot of times once you get kicked out, once you have to start any type of fight, the rules of certain tournaments is that the particular player
can lost for the tournament.
Turns off for the tournament. Yeah.
That's good. I think that zero tolerance policy is really good. I mean, we can talk about basketball all day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think more and more sports are trying to move towards that zero tolerance policy.
Which I'm glad it is. Oh, absolutely. Because some of these players can get kind of disrespectful, get kind of aggressive, get very very.
So I mean, and I think maybe are you think the players' behavior towards officials is staying the same too, or do you hear a little bit more talking back, or because I know I mean, well, first let me ask you: do you feel like basketball staying the same, or you feel like it's getting better, or staying the same, or worse?
What, in basketball?
Yeah.
That's a good question. And I had to say it on both sides. I've seen a situation where I felt that it's gotten worse because I think some of the players, in my opinion, have the sense of entitlement now. That they've never been told, that you can't do certain things, you can't say certain things. But at the same time, I'm thinking that I'm seeing a lot of players have shown a little bit more respect towards the official because they realize that we have a job to do. In lacrosse, the players, they don't really say too much. They might ask a question about you know when a penalty is called on them. 9 out of 10 times they know the reason why. Right. They know that penalty was called on them for illegal hit somehow. Say, hey, look, number 15, you know what? That was a slash. You did, you hit that person, a little bit too aggressive. A cross check is when you're going to cheer on up to the net. 9 out of 10 times they would know. But a lot of times they say, rough, why did I, get this penalty? And you explain, and you tell them, in my judgment, in my judgment, at my angle, I felt that, that particular hit or contact uh, uh, was, too aggressive.
Was illegal.
It was illegal. Yeah.
So same kind of verbiage we use in volleyball or basketball.
Yeah.
So do you think like we say it's growing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you see the like access to more people for lacrosse?
Okay, now lacrosse. Now, one thing about lacrosse is that it's an expensive sport.
Yeah.
It is because the equipment is very expensive.
Shoulder
you
pads.
got the helmet. It's very expensive. I know. What I was told is it could go into hundreds of dollars. The stick in itself, I've seen some sticks like they according to some of the players and some of the parents I've talked to, and they can be hundreds of dollars just for one stick. And that's just a short stick. You have the long stick even more. So you have the equipment, you have the helmet, you have the pads, shoulder pads, knee pad, the elbow pads, mouth guard, the cleats. Just those things are not cheap. They're not cheap. So to the money, and they're not including the uniform and things like that. But yeah, it's a very expensive sport. Yeah.
So even in rec ball, I mean, do you see the population changing, the access changing as the sport's growing, or do you think it's fairly static?
Well, in my experience is that it's still a predominantly a white sport. To say this, not taking away. I think it's growing among the minority, and it's really good to see. Um, but but the culture, it's not changing fast enough for me. But we're seeing more and more. Obviously a lot more and more African American kids playing. Not at the rate that I would like to see it, but I think they're getting exposed because the exposure is important. And I think just like when I started, I didn't know anything about lacrosse. No, I have no idea. I've heard of it. But I never, went to a game. And of course, obviously, in my neighborhood, I never played it.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Like I was doing a little bit of research about it, and some famous people that have played, and I want to see if you know some of these, if you knew that some of these guys played.
Yeah, right.
You know Steve Carroll from The Office and Despicable Me. Do you know him?
I know him, but I know his stuff. I know his
He
stuff.
played lacrosse.
Okay, all right.
What about Method Man? Did you know Method Man played?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
No, I did not. You did nothing there.
Method
Okay.
Man from The
Okay.
Woo.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Jason Kelsey.
Can't see the chief.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I heard something like that. Okay.
So there's an old throwback. I got a couple more. Geraldo Rivera. We grew up watching the news with
Okay.
Geraldo.
Okay. Right.
Aaron Burnett.
Okay.
Steve Nash. Canadian.
Yeah.
The cis
That's
guy
okay. Okay.
from France.
Okay.
Steve Nash played
Okay.
lacrosse. The big ones are Jim Thorpe, and you know Jim Brown played.
Okay. Now we gonna say that I was hoping you'd bring up Jim Brown because when we talk about lacrosse, especially when it comes to African American, and then when you just talk to any non-African American player, okay? Oh yeah, the first person that comes up is Jim Brown.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing, Jim Brown. So for a long time, they always associated, especially African American players, to Jim Brown.
Oh,
Yeah, so did you know that Jim Brown played, lacrosse? And I said, yeah, but have I ever seen him play? He said, no. I've seen pictures of him in his uniform. It was quite different then, but
they have some film of him, and he is just running through
yeah,
people.
and that's the beauty of lacrosse because lacrosse in my opinion it's a really beautiful sport to see because you have guys that are so fast, quick, uh, and of course, obviously, strong. But lacrosse, you can be, you can. It's a position for everybody, no matter for everybody.
The thing that I remember seeing Jim Brown, it was an old interview, and I mean, it was really almost recently before he passed away.
Right.
Um, he still had a stick in his hand, and I mean, he kept a lacrosse stick and a ball like by his bed, dang near.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he could stick handle. I mean, it was just unbelievable. If you watch, we'll show you some. I'll show you some tapes of it.
Right.
But he, till almost
I've
his
seen some.
passing,
Yeah.
he was stick handling.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, lacrosse fans or lacrosse players, even I've seen kids, in the stands, they have a stick, passionate lacrosse fans, passionate lacrosse players.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Carrying the ball.
They carry that.
Just like
they carry that stick.
carrying your ball.
Yeah, carry your
So
ball.
so there's a couple more. Bill Belichick played.
Yeah, for Patriots.
Yep.
I didn't know
Yep.
that. Okay.
And
Something I didn't know.
there's two more people
Okay.
that are pretty interesting.
Who's that?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx played.
Jamie Foxx played lacrosse. And the last one is
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky. So he said that he
Okay.
stopped playing lacrosse because it was too physical.
Okay.
So I mean, a hockey player who's getting hit against boards, 90-mile-an-hour shots.
Yeah.
Some gal.
He said it was getting too.
He said it was too physical. He stopped playing because
Yeah, I can see that.
So
I can see
Jamie Foxx
and
Wayne Gretzky all.
you know what? You got me on that one. Yeah, you got me on that one.
Yeah,
you got me on that one.
it's one of those sports, man, that I think, and I'm sure just like a lot of other sports. What do you think some of the lessons are that kids get playing and that you've gotten playing?
Friendship. You know, those are lifelong friendship. I think any type of sports team, no matter what sport you're in, it can be volleyball, uh, basketball, but lacrosse friendships. Um, Playing, at it, with your team, at a team, for your team. Um, Lifelong, it's a lifelong friendship for forever. I think so.
So one of the things I think that's real important and that, I want to talk about, in general on Black and White Table Talk is just kind of like restoring the purpose of sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how, um, I think basketball and football and some of the other sports are kind of being monetized now.
Right.
It's just more entertainment. But I think lacrosse and other sports really are. Um, I think when we were growing up,
Right.
way back in the day, it's just about, learning different skills, right?
Right.
Teamwork, emotional control,
Right.
accountability,
Exactly.
responsibility,
Exactly.
discipline,
Right.
just, respecting authority, so some of those things, I hope, are things that we represent as officials,
Exactly.
and they get, kids, players, and fans get too, from sports. And I'm glad that it's not really, um, it sounds like it's not really as frequent, the outbursts and some of the things that happen in lacrosse as it is in basketball, because we've been through some basketball wars together.
Yeah.
So and we'll get you back talking about basketball too.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to kind of focus on lacrosse.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of ask you too, what do you think lacrosse gets right? I mean, like as far as the sport and the community in general, what do you think they get right about how they treat officials and how the community views the sport?
I think one thing that what gets lacrosse right is that as far as treating the official, I think a lot of them realize that one, they know that we have a difficult job. I've been told that a lot, no matter how contentious the game is, But I've been told, yeah, ref, y'all have a tough job. We have a tough job. But I think a lot of the fans realize that we're doing the best that we can to keep their players, their sons and daughters, safe. I think they realize that we don't show no favoritism towards who wins or who loses. They don't. But I, but I think that I would like to see some of the coaches that I've experienced be a little bit more understanding of the officials and what we tried to do. I think a lot of times, the coaches, the players takes on the attitude of the coach. other coaches, and I've seen a lot of coaches, Kaya, where they can be very disrespectful and very rude towards an official because what they see or how they interpret certain things is not what we see and how we interpret it. And in some instances, in some of my experiences, is that they take it so personal, in my opinion. And I think it takes away, from the game in itself. You know,
Would they
so,
think you don't like them or something like that? Or do they just
just that I'm not saying a lot of these coaches they know the game. A lot of these coaches have played the game. Either from a higher level. But at the same time is that the, we're it can be a situation, Kai, where no matter what we call or what we do, it's never right.
Yeah.
It's never right. And they can yell at us. They yell at us. They scream at us. They say a lot of disrespectful things towards us. And then sometimes you have players. And it's rare occasion, but players take on that particular attitude. Their assistants, no matter what we do, or what we, uh, how we call the game or call the plays, it's never right.
So are there restrictions? There aren't restrictions on things that like they can say. Like I mean in volleyball, you can't yell across the court.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
basketball, you're not supposed to,
No,
yell at an
no,
official, right? I mean we know how
no.
it goes.
Yes, I mean they know this.
Right.
Yes, there are penalties involved. We can do a conduct penalty. Yeah,
Where they would go down a player
yeah,
because
go
of
down
the
play
coach's
yeah,
conduct.
conduct. Yeah, we can even go as far as ejecting them from the game, which I've done on a couple of occasions where they get a little bit too disrespectful. You know, so yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and I wish that would change. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think,
I have some coaches, Kyle, that would just. I mean, I have some coaches. And then they also want. They also, I think, a lot of times they want to, uh, uh, pick with you to see how far they can go. And then we use our power, to try
test
to,
your
they
boundaries.
test it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how many well, I guess how many you do more rec lacrosse games than high school lacrosse? Is that becoming more popular? The rec lacrosse matches or
No, lacrosse,
are they games or matches?
yeah, no, it's games.
These are games.
Yeah, and it's just like rec. They have a spring league, a spring play.
Yeah.
They have summer play. Yeah, summer leagues. And just like any other, just like volleyball have their tournaments.
Yeah.
It's like basketball have their AAU tournament.
Yeah.
Lacrosse do the exact same thing.
So are the rec lacrosse coaches the ones that you feel are worse than the high school ones? Or do you think it's not really a
Not really.
difference?
There's no difference.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
Because I think at least in rec sports, there's so many more teams, right?
Yeah.
So they're just the pool of the pool of coaches is so they need so many more.
And
You know what I mean?
And a lot of the red coaches of lacrosse are, high, former players, high school players, college players, or have been around again for a lot. I met some really good guys.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they know or not, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But in general,
I think, I would like to see a little bit more.
so you think the coaches think they know the rules, or they really know the rules?
I think a lot of times they know the rules, but our interpretation on applying the rule is different from what they see.
Yeah.
what they say.
Well, they're biased.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got a couple more things I want to just ask you, and I want you to just give me one word that you think describes lacrosse, if you could. One word.
Fast.
Fast.
Fast. That was fast.
What do you think is one misconception about lacrosse officiating?
Oh, one misconception. Um,
What's one thing you think we missed the most, or one misconception?
um, that is not. It's not physical. It's not physical. Let me see. I know. Let me see. That's a good card. That's a card. One thing I wrote down in my notes is it's a lot. It's a lot of action.
It's pretty action packed.
Yeah. It's pretty action.
That's what keeps you engaged.
Yeah, it's action. Yeah, it's a lot of action. Yeah, a lot of action. It's not a boring. It's not a boring sport.
It's not boring.
No, it's not boring at all. No.
So those are some things you use basically to recruit officials.
Yeah.
It's fast, action packed.
Um, um, and I like the how the teams how they work together. As a team, I like that aspect because they do work as a unison.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
I'm sure there's
Communication
ways
well.
to see them scoring, to kind of, I don't know if it's drive down the field and watch them score is pretty unique.
Yeah, because the scoring is so rare.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those guys get really excited. If they score, especially for I had one this past couple of weeks. When he scored his first goal,
Oh, yeah.
he was so excited. This is in high school now.
Wow.
This is the high school. It happened about a couple of weeks ago. It's like he scored his first goal. He said he was so happy. He started to jump and yell, and I was like, bro, then bro, I understand.
Yeah.
Then I said, man,
Pretend like you done it.
yeah. And I said, man, just take the ball. Take the ball. And take the ball and and take it with you and get signed. So yeah.
Well, I want to thank you, man, for coming in today. And yeah, man, I appreciate you. I know we're going to see you again. There's so much to explore about this sport. You're welcome to come back anytime. I mean, you're my friend and you're my family. Um, but one of the things that stands out about lacrosse is that it's kind of still evolving. And when the sport is growing, its culture is still being written by the players, by the coaches, by the parents, and us too, right? As officials. But what we've heard isn't really about lacrosse. I mean, it's about something bigger because every sport kind of reflects the people inside of it, how we handle pressure, authority, and how we treat each other when things don't go right. And that's really kind of what we're trying to explore, the bigger question, um, in sports. Are we struggling? How we behave inside of the competition, or is the competition making us struggle? So that's kind of like what we're talking about, those gray areas of black and white table talk. And I think lacrosse shows us what sports show us is that culture isn't fixed. It's more shaped by every game, every sideline, every interaction. So the big question that we're asking is, what kind of culture are we building? What kind of legacy are we leaving for our kids? And what are our kids learning from us at our sporting events? So that's stuff that, I want you to come back and talk about, comparing lacrosse and basketball and football and your experiences. So um, you're welcome to come back to the Black and White Table
Thank
Talk.
you. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you.
Come on and see a game. You'll see interesting sport that a lot of people have not seen.
We need to go. We need to go to a Swarm game too. I think we need to maybe
gosh, man,
get some content. Check it out.
I ain't never been to a swamp game.
We're gonna go.
Man,
We're gonna go.
swamp game. Just like I never been to a Red Wing game.
See, oh snap! We got to. Well, they're getting ready to get a Thrasher team, but we'll go to a Wings game.
I've been to a Thrasher, man.
But this is the Black and White Table Talk. I'd like to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Timmy. Appreciate you, man. Love you, bro.
Love you too. Thanks.